Hi everyone, Mac here, and welcome to my first motovlog, where I'm going to be taking out the bike once a week and just really talking about random stuff with you guys. Seeing as this is my first episode, we can probably talk about how I started on motorbikes and why I like motorbikes, where it all started. So I don't really know anyone with motorbikes or that had motorbikes when I was growing up. I just know my dad used to have motorbikes when I was really young. So yeah, I always wanted one because of that reason. But as I said, I didn't actually know anyone else around me, family or friends, that had motorbikes. I just really liked the idea of it. So when I was 19 and had a little bit of money saved, I did my CBT and yeah, passed my CBT. I got myself a little 125cc Yamaha YBR in black. Still love that bike. And kind of started there really. I had that YBR for probably about a year, and that's before I had a motorbike. Sorry, that's before I had a car. So my motorbike was the only form of transport, which in the British winter time is not that fun. In a lot of rain. So I did that, and to be honest, like in summer when I got the bike, it was amazing. I mean, I loved it, the freedom. I did have my car license already, but I didn't have a car. I didn't have the money for the car, so I thought the next best thing was get a motorbike. And it was fun, and it was really fun actually in summer. But in the winter, when I was commuting back and forth from work and it was pissing it down, and I'm on a 125 that, you know, can barely go over 60, it wasn't that fun. And to be honest, that probably put me off biking a little bit, just because it became like a thing I had to do in the rain, but maybe I didn't always want to do. But I still enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. And I'd recommend to anyone listening to this that wants to get into motorbiking, like, get a 125, spend a year on it, or 6 months at least, like a season. And it will teach you so many valuable skills. Like, it taught me so much, so much, because you can't go that fast to hurt yourself, but you can learn a lot. But anyways, so yeah, that was at 19. Had that for about a year, and then, you know, job, career, life, house, all that stuff came into play. I sold the bike to get a car, and that was me sort of, you know, done with motorbiking at 19, 20. And I said to myself, okay, when I turn 24, I'm going to do my full license, because I really fucking love this. But again, life happens, and now at 27 this year, I finally passed my full motorbike license. So in March this year, I can't remember, I think 15th of March, I did my sort of full motorbike course. Forgot what you call it, like not a crash course, but where everything's basically put together. So I started with a CBT, which weirdly was kind of weird on a 125, because it was very twitchy. I forgot how twitchy 125s are. So I did my CBT first. Took me about half an hour to 40 minutes to really get back into it. I mean, it's weird because I haven't ridden for 7 years, and it took me about half an hour, and my brain literally remembered everything that it kind of learned back when I was 19. So yeah, after the 125 training, obviously after the CBT, then what was next? I think we did, so I think I hopped on a 650. And this was the weirdest feeling, like hopping on a 650 after spending a day or two on a 125, and by this point I've never ridden anything bigger than a 125. So I jumped on a 650 and I was thinking, oh fuck, this is quite heavy, this is quite serious. But as soon as I moved, like, you know, 5 inches, I was so surprised how much easier it was than a 125. Like literally it was so much easier. I don't know why. I think the weight of the bike was just so much more stable. The clutch was just so much more smoother. The acceleration was smoother. Like everything on a bigger bike is just smoother, whereas everything on a 125 is quite twitchy because it's, you know, a little bit cheaper and smaller engines, so stuff just kind of gets put in. Whereas with a bigger bike, you just kind of, yeah, you definitely have more quality stuff. And also the bigger tyres and the weight obviously being the number one thing. I think I was just so surprised I hopped on it and I was like, oh, this is actually easier than riding on a 125. And I looked at the instructor and he was like, yep, that's what every single person says. And that's why I always recommend, like, spend 6 to 12 months on a 125, because when you actually hop on a bigger bike, it's going to be easier. But if you start with a bigger bike, it might feel a bit more intimidating. So anyway, I did my mod 1, which I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit apprehensive about, because I heard a lot of things that is quite strict with the instructor on the course, looking at every single detail. And when we actually got to the centre and I did my mod 1, it felt like it was literally 10 minutes around the course. And I came back so quickly back into my parking bay after mod 1 that I thought I failed or something, but he was like, no, hold on, pass, move on. Like literally, it was just straight up. So that was just surprising. And then mod 2, obviously I did it local in my town. Oh my god, look at that Porsche. That is sexy turbo. I did my mod 2 weirdly kind of near my area, so because it was near my area I kind of knew exactly where I was going. So I knew the speed limits, I knew the, you know, corners, I knew where sort of cars normally pull out. So doing a test in your local area is a massive advantage, because it just felt like a Sunday ride for me. Obviously I did a few sessions with the motorbike school as well, so I know what I was doing. But more than anything, knowing the roads on a motorbike is super key, because you kind of, yeah, you just feel a little bit more confident. I'm not going to squeeze in. So I passed my mod 2 and that was it. Got my motorbike license this March, as I said. And I did the stupidest thing. On the same day I went to pick up a motorbike. Now, well, it wasn't this motorbike, it was another motorbike. I don't know if I want to cover this now or if I want to maybe talk about it on my next episode, but essentially I bought a project bike, a 1992 project bike. That's all I'm going to say. And it was in an absolute state. I mean, me being excited, you know, just passed and mostly ignorant, thinking, oh, I'll just change the oil, change the tyres and she'll be good to go. But she definitely wasn't, and she definitely isn't yet. But as I said, I'll cover that on my next episode. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into motorbiking. I mean, another big part of me getting into this was watching a lot of people on YouTube. That's why I'm here, you know, from the previous people that I used to watch. And I used to watch a lot of Americans, so all the guys from Yami Noob and Do It With Dan, Chase on Two Wheels, all those guys. There was loads more, but obviously I don't remember that much, because I mean, to be fair, I still watch some of them, the ones that I mentioned, but a lot of the other guys kind of moved on to do other things. But yeah, I just remember those videos of them vlogging, you know, going to the gym and having a good time on the bikes with the boys. And I love that. I love that sort of friendship vibe and just sort of chilling on the bikes. So I mean, it's weird now, years after, I mean probably 10 plus years since I watched that content, and I'm out here sort of doing the same thing. But after I picked the project bike up and realised after 3 months of work on it that it's going to be a year project, not a month project, I decided to get something else, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have rode this summer. Basically, I was really excited to ride this summer, so I got this. This is a 650 Honda CBR-F. I don't know why I said that backwards. It's a Honda CBR-F, Honda CBR 650F. That's it. And it took me a long time to find the right bike. I mean, I'm the type of guy that researches way too much and probably overthinks way too much when it comes to a bigger decision. But it's just kind of, you know, I'm programmed in that way not to make the wrong decision, so I overanalyze and over research. And you know, I looked at everything from Daytona 675, they're really cool. I looked at the new 650R, which was a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more expensive. I wanted something sporty, but obviously my experience was a year on a 125cc YBR, which is a completely naked bike, upright, you know, you're sitting on a sofa, to learning and passing on a Kawasaki Z650. I think it was Z650. It's the Kawasaki's naked sort of upright bike, and that's what I did my test on, and that was nice, and I liked the riding position. It was really easy to ride, but the only issue with that was, well, not an issue, but just my preference. I wanted something a bit more sporty, but I didn't want to go and jump in straight into like a super sports, I don't know, R6 or CBR 600 RR or the Ninja 600. I just thought those bikes are a little bit too much for a beginner coming from a 125, because I mean, not even about the power, but just the power band, you know, there's nothing down low and everything up high, which I guess you could argue for a beginner it's probably good, because you only get the power if you push it. But I also didn't want to be turned off by the sort of uncomfortableness of a super sport, because this is like a sports tourer, you know, let's be honest. It looks sporty, and it has got clip-ons, but they're much higher, you know. My seating position isn't that forward, so this is kind of like a in between a naked and a super sport. So for me it was quite nice to kind of use this as a starting point. Hello, my CBR. This was for me like a starting point on getting into the sporty side of biking, basically the sport bikes. I didn't want to go too aggressive and sort of talk myself out of it in a way. If I was too sort of uncomfortable, and I'd maybe look to get something else. So that's kind of why I got this. Also, like, this is my only working bike right now, so I didn't want something that I can't use, you know, on the odd day to commute to work as well. And I've commuted on this to work, which is about a 30-mile ride, and I'm not going to say it's fun. It's definitely a bit of a challenge in the morning when you're not really awake yet, to go on a dual carriageway and do 80 or 70 in a straight line for half an hour. That's not fun on a motorbike. I mean, there might be some bikes that is fun on, but this bike, I mean, you get a lot of wind. It's got the power to keep up, don't get me wrong, but it's just a lot of shaking in the morning, you know. but that's why I chose this, because I wanted something that's a good sort of all-arounder, something that looks nice, something that is sporty but not too aggressive, something I can commute on. You know, don't get me wrong, it's still my weekend bike and I don't take it out in the rain and that sort of stuff, but if I get caught in the rain, it's not the end of the world, sort of thing. Also a big reason for getting this bike was the value. Like, I paid between 4 to 5 grand for this, and it only had 6,000 miles on it. It's a 2016 bike. It's had full Honda service history, bought it from a main dealer with a warranty, so it's hard to find a good value bike with good history for that price if you look at the super sports. And yeah, I just also didn't want to spend too much money on a brand new bike as my first bigger bike. You know, if I'm going to drop it and mess around on it or whatnot. So far, touch wood, there's no wood, I haven't dropped it yet. I'm sure it's going to come, but so far so good. But like overall with this bike, I mean, it's been really good. You know, coming from a 125, it's definitely a lot to get used to in terms of the power at the start, but you get used to power so quickly. I mean, when I picked up this bike in Donington, my first ride on this bike was a 2-hour ride back home. And I was taking it easy, you know, my wrists were definitely hurting. I was not used to the riding position and all sort of things, but took my time with it and I got used to it pretty quickly. I mean, I could probably rev it out to the max now and go for a few gears. I'm getting used to the speed, definitely, but the good thing about this is that you can actually go through some of the gears and rev it out to get the power and still not be breaking the speed limit, because some of the bigger bikes, I mean, especially the litre bikes, you're going to be breaking the speed limit in first gear. So I wanted something that I can actually learn how to, you know, handle, change gears and that sort of stuff as well. I know some people like to go for a bigger bike and just learn slowly on it and just keep it for a long time, but I'm also the type of guy that likes to switch it up when it comes to cars and bikes, so I'd rather get something like this and, you know, swap it out maybe next year or the year after. I don't know what I would swap it to, but I was looking at something a bit more sportier. As I said before, the Daytona 675, I mean, they are very, very sexy. Or maybe an R6, always wanted the R6, Ninja 600, you know, any of the big Japanese super sports. I mean, right now I'm not really looking at like Italians, because I feel like they're lovely and beautiful and full of passion, but also expensive to maintain. That's why I always skew towards that Japanese bikes. But anyways, I think I rambled enough about myself and why I started motorbiking, what was my journey, and what bike am I on now and why. So next episode, I'm going to try to release these weekly. We'll see how possible that is with the British weather. To be fair, for October it's pretty fucking nice. I'll try to release these weekly, as I said, and next week I want to talk to you about my project bike, which I bought, my 1992 project bike, which has been a fucking journey. It's been a journey. And I'm going to spend this winter fixing it up and sharing that with you guys as well. So all I'm going to leave you with is that it's a Suzuki. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching, and if you like the content and want to see more of this, give this video a like, share it with your friends, share it with your mum. I'm sure she'll love it. I'll catch you guys next time. I feel like I've been riding around town for too much, so I need to give you guys a little pull.